I'm hoping that Graham will get a good reception down at the Amex.
Listen, he should do, and I'm sure on the majority he will. There will be the minority, as we've always seen with every manager or idol or hero, or even any player leaving any club to go back and play their original one. There's going to be a little bit of stick going that way, and you can understand that, the loyal Brighton fans. But look, when that opportunity come up to go to test himself at the top echelons of the Premier League and Champions League, it's one that he had to do.
He's done a great job, Siddy. Look at what he's achieved at the moment. Bigger egos, we all know that at Chelsea, but he looks like there's a real team spirit there. And the most important thing as well for Graham Potter was to take his backroom staff, because they play a big part in what he's achieved so far.
Yeah, 100%. He's and you just said there, a lot of people question that. He's done it at the lower ends. His footballing journey, not really big egos and big personalities he's had to deal with. And I've got to say, I mean, I've done a piece on him for Drive, I think, and I said he thrives off, getting to know people, getting to know personalities, however big, however small they are, getting on a personal level. He's got a lot of empathy, and that relationship that he builds with players, obviously, it spreads not just from individual but to a collective, and he gets to know them inside out, personally, on a family note as well, away from the ground. And then, you take it into his backroom staff, Bjorn, Billy Reid, took Bruno, who's a Brighton legend as well. So, really important, because nowadays it's not just about the manager, it's about your backroom staff. It's about, knowing that you can delegate instructions to, and they'll go off and do that to a T.
Steve, obviously I'm speaking as a Newcastle fan. I see a lot of similarities between Graham Potter and Eddie Howe, the way they've conducted themselves going into the club. It's not about them, like you mentioned. It's about the team and the group. Yeah. Is that the biggest factor that you've seen in Chelsea, or is it simple that in the biggest clubs, 2 years, 3 years listening to an ego manager that's just long enough?
Yeah, I think the first and foremost, he's got a lot of humility, Graham Potter. It's always about the team. It's always about the culture, the environment that he installs. At the moment, it's all going well. Undefeated, playing well. Everyone looks like they want to get in that team. They want to play. When it starts hitting the rocky patch, as we all know, in every environment, every sport, whether that's football with Ray or cricket, Harmy, that's when obviously little things start happening away from the dressing room or in the dressing room, and then you've got to manage that. He's not having to do that at the moment because it's all going so well. But when that time comes, he's done it before in his footballing journey, whether that's been abroad or with Brighton or Swansea. He'll know what to do. He's got the experience. Yes, big personalities, big egos, but you could class him one of them now. Being a manager of the top flight as well.
I think it's looking good for both clubs, to be honest. Chelsea with Europe. I think they'll make Champions League again this year. And I think Brighton, would I be right in saying as long as Brighton finish top half, the Brighton fans will be delighted?
Of course, yeah. Look, I think with every football club, you want to improve every year. They've done that throughout their time in the Premier League. 9th finish last season, which was amazing. Some really good performances and results. De Zerbi's come in. It's been... I think everyone's just waiting and wishing and wanting him to get that first win. They've been so close. A great start up at Anfield, 3-3 draw. Should have come away really with all 3 points, and played well in most games. Firing blanks in a few. So the goals wise, it's gone back to that old Brighton, really easy to watch, pleasing on the eye, but create chances, but just couldn't finish them. They've done that of late. So huge importance for them just to get that first win over the line. Look, confidence is great there. I still speak to a few of the players there in the dressing room. They like the manager. There's a bit of a stumbling block with the language barrier. Training schedule has changed as well from where Graham Potter was short, sharp, intense. Sometimes less is more, whereas his is quite a longer structure. But they're still enjoying that. And they're all the players, all the staff and fans, they're just waiting to just get that 3 points so they can probably just relax a little bit as well.
Steve, I've got to ask you about Aubameyang coming from Barcelona. How do you think he's settled into Chelsea? And is it top signing for you, Chelsea-wise?
Yeah, I mean, if I'm honest, Ray, I was on the fence at the start. Just the way that he left Arsenal, and I know he went to Barcelona and he was smashing goals there, but at that time the Liga weren't really great. And I thought when he comes back, if it's the Aubameyang that we know, then great. And if it's one that's just coming back for a free ticket to ride and on the top of the Premier League, then he'd get found out. But to be fair, he's done well. He's done well. He surprised me. He looks like he's hungry, wants to score goals. I believe in the dressing room and that, and around the training ground, he's been top draw with the players as well. So a really astute signing there from Chelsea.
talkSPORT Breakfast with Alan Brazil. Thursday and Friday morning, 6 till 10. On AM, on DAB, via the talkSPORT app and on your smart speaker. talkSPORT.